welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the Leo October horoscope. So glad you're here. If you are new, subscribe and be live and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, so just to briefly explain what I do, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you, and then we'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. Alrighty, so let's go to the board now and see what these cards say. So the first card can be for the first half of the month if you like, and the second card for the second half of the month if you like. Otherwise you can take them both together and see how they both apply to your situation. Okay, so the first half of the month for Leo, what am I seeing? Doors opening and doors closing. There's also something here about a monitor on a computer. Maybe means monitor your situation, or could mean that there could be some technical issue, especially with Mercury retrograde up until the 2nd or the 3rd, depending where you are in the world. Okay, so let's just see what card we get. The Hierophant. It's a good time for learning this month, for studying. You do have the full moon here in your house of the higher mind. We'll talk more about that in a moment. The important thing though is that you'll see here's a book of life, and there's 2 keys in this book, and I often think that they are knowledge and wisdom. So while it's great to have a lot of knowledge, you need the wisdom to know how to best to apply that in your life. And you'll see here she's also seated on a whole lot of books. So there's a lot of knowledge there, but she's sitting on it rather than acting on it. However, she is dressed in red, so that does suggest that action is coming. So you might find that this month that you take some action to, utilise your knowledge with wisdom, one would hope. Okay, so that's the first card. Now the second half of the month, and some of you could do a course as well, but with the full moon there might be a bit of a shake-up first, or some sort of intuition or insightful awareness that comes out of a sort of bit of a turbulent process. All right, now the second half of the month, what do I see? This diamond in front of me, a diamond ring. This suggests clarity. There's a lot of value in having a clear mind. You know, your emotions are very important. However, sometimes they can cloud logic, and we need to get the balance of both. Okay, so it says to me that the clarity of thought is coming to you. Okay, in balance with your emotions. The card that comes up is the 7 of Wands. This could be some sort of conflict situation where you have to stand your ground. Okay, don't let them get away with it, whoever they are. Don't let them get away with it. Stand your ground and be firm in your beliefs. You'll see she's wearing a red bra here, which probably means action. You know, she is going to take action to defend her rights, which is fair enough. But it doesn't always have to get to the stage where it's actual conflict. Sometimes if you're assertive right from the get-go, then the other side will realise that they can't walk all over you. And so, that will put them off, any sort of problem. It's important to really sort of be firm right at the start rather than letting it go too far, because the further it gets, the worse sometimes people can get with taking advantage of other people. So be assertive, lay the groundwork, be very clear in your thoughts and your communications, which may be difficult before the 2nd or the 3rd with Mercury retrograde, and there's a few other influences here that indicate that there could be some sort of cloudy or confused thinking. I'm just going to put those like that and move this whole lot up so that you can see it, because now we're going to look at your horoscope in depth. Okay, lovely Leo. And it starts off, firstly what I want to talk about is this thing called a Grand Cross, and it involves the moon. So this is only probably going to last for a few hours or probably not even a day, but it's quite intense. So the aftermath, if you like, or the lead up to it could last a couple of days. So anywhere from the 30th of September to, the 1st of October, depending where you are in the world. And this is very intense for a number of reasons. Just this pattern alone, the 4 planets are sort of combining their energy, and there's a lot of squares here, 4 squares, so they are challenging. But the thing with squares is that even though they're challenging, sometimes ultimately it comes out for your benefit. You could get into a situation where, there's some sort of disagreement, and you make a decision out of that, and it's actually beneficial for you. And maybe you just needed a bit of a push to make that decision. You may have been thinking about it for a while, but this gives you the push to actually do it. So it can be quite positive. There is a solar eclipse as well on the 25th in Scorpio, which is your home and family. So that will be pretty intense as well, bringing new beginnings there. Mercury, Saturn and Pluto go direct, so that gives us a great big push forward this month. Jupiter and Mars go retrograde, so Jupiter's going back into your 8th house of shared resources, those assets that you share with another person. Sometimes it's to do with inheritances, it could be loans, it could be a loan that you have with a bank, for example, and your interest rate goes up. With Jupiter retrograde, it's likely that you have to internalize a lot of energy, because maybe there's not a lot you can do about, like if the interest rates go up, you can't do anything about it, except the only option is go to another bank perhaps, So there's definitely a lot going on. Mars is also going retrograde, I'll talk about that later, but it's in the same house basically this month anyway. Okay, so from the 29th to the 4th, Mercury is retrograde opposite Neptune. This is not a good time for signing contracts or for reaching agreements with other people or companies, organisations. Your communication could be a bit confused, or it might just be that there's general misunderstandings around. Your thinking might be fuzzy now, and you might be sort of swayed by your feelings rather than logic. On the upside, on the positive side, you may have lost something or hidden something, and you've forgotten where you've put it, and that might come to light and you remember all of a sudden. So there is a positive to it. It's also a great time when things are coming up from your subconscious, so you can ruminate over those subconscious contents that come up, those feelings, and they might be things that you haven't even thought about for a long time, and then all of a sudden you start feeling resentful or angry or something. You start feeling something, and it's from the past. So then you can ask the question, why is this coming up, and is there anything I need to look at? The 5th to the 8th of the month, Mercury turns direct on the 2nd or the 3rd. So we have Mercury trining Pluto, giving you a great depth to your conversations. People are likely to tell you quite intimate details. Maybe you don't even have to ask. Do be cautious though. Loose lips sink ships. So do be cautious that you don't inadvertently spill the beans. It's important, that all confidentiality is kept. But it's like superficial answers are not what you're looking for now. You want to get right to the core of the problem. You could solve a mystery or investigate a very complex problem. From the 9th to the 18th of October, Mars squares Neptune. This is also a confusing time, and maybe you're unsure. You might have been certain about something, a situation in the past, how you felt about it, and now there's this little bit of doubt, and you could be unsure or confused about what you think or feel right now. On the upside, your imagination is likely to be very fertile. You could be feeling quite creative, especially if you're an artist or a musician, someone like that. You might become aware of some fantasy or a strange desire, maybe write it down. And you might look back on it later and think, God, that was weird. Why did I think that? On the 9th is the Hunter's full moon in Aries, which is here in your house of the higher mind, which I mentioned before. And this is bringing a little bit of illumination into your life to help you grow and develop your life, okay, in some way. Maybe you'll do that through spirituality, perhaps through travel, or perhaps study. It's a great time to change your thinking now and look at the big picture. Maybe you feel like going away on a break or going to another country or something like that. The 10th sees Mercury entering Libra here in the 3rd house. Where are we? Okay, so Mercury's in the 2nd and it moves to the 3rd house here. And there could be lots of communications and ideas about your local community, your domestic situation, just your, normal life stuff of paying bills and stuff like that. Or perhaps if you're in small business, you might be thinking about marketing or promotion. And there's also an element of learning in this house as well. You might be thinking about learning something. There could be a lot of short trips around your local area. And also you could hear from distant relatives such as cousins or siblings. New solutions to old problems are quite likely now. The 11th to the 23rd of October, Mars squares Mercury. Do watch this one because with all of these changes, there's so much going on, planets coming and going this month and all sorts of things, that there could be arguments, verbal battles, heated debates, because you want to speak your mind. It's good to put your brain in gear before opening your mouth if you possibly can. I know it's hard. I know from personal experience you could be feeling a bit irritable or impatient. Okay, so just think before you speak. And because Mars is pushing you forward into the future, but sometimes all of the groundwork hasn't been laid yet. So, don't burn your bridges before you, have things set up. Okay, so slow down. Headaches are something, physical headaches or migraines can come when Mars is not cooperating and in a hard aspect. 22nd to the 21st of November, Saturn squares Uranus. We've had this for a fair while on and off. You might find that there's some sort of, again, frustration or a wet blanket is thrown over your plans. Maybe you feel a bit restricted, maybe not enough hours or time. Saturn is associated with time, father time, and you might feel that time is not your friend in some way now. So do watch that you don't get mixed up with the days. Write everything down in a paper diary, I find is best, because at least, you can't lose it or whatever. Well, you can lose a whole diary, but you're probably not going to lose one page. You might find you need to change your mind about a creative idea and find a new way of doing it. There's some tweaking going on there. You have to try a new angle perhaps. From the 17th to the 13th of November, Jupiter trines your ascendant, which is fabulous. But it will go a bit quieter from the 28th of the month. So basically the first 11 days of this is really fabulous. It's a great time for you to express yourself. You feel more confident. And you'll probably get a lot of wins out of this and the respect and admiration of other people. After the 28th, it could slow down a bit, with this approval and this positive energy could slow down, or maybe you're just thinking about something. So if you get the ideas, try and put them into practice straight away, after you've thought of them. Do something about it, take action straight away, because otherwise you're probably just more likely just to keep thinking and thinking and thinking and not actually do it. Okay, other people will help you in your proposals. The 23rd of October, Venus enters Scorpio. Now, there's a lot happening here in your house of home and family. And Venus moving in here means that there's a sense of harmony, of peace, of love, affection, getting on with other family members. You might also beautify your home because Venus loves everything beautiful, so you could redecorate your home or perhaps your garden even, because she does like gardening as well, like a beautiful garden, not so much the actual physical thing of getting dirty and sweaty. She doesn't like that, but a beautiful garden she does. And the sun also goes in there on the 23rd, so that brings insight, awareness, happiness and stability, a feeling of comfort. And Venus also likes to be comfortable, especially in the home. And it's all happening in Scorpio, so you might just be feeling wonderful. It might be a real sense of happiness and comfort and stability. You know, it's like, oh, thank God, take a deep breath and just feel stable and everything's lovely. And there's a party in the house, in, you know, this fourth house basically. Big focus on your family, and because it's in Scorpio, it could be quite deep and compelling, and you might be quite emotional. It could be even tears of relief around how happy you feel. Maybe you don't think you deserve such happiness, perhaps. Jupiter is retrograde in your 8th house in Pisces as well. You might find that joint resources, what you share with somebody else, loans, inheritances, an ex perhaps, it could go a bit quieter. You might have been through a bit of a torrid time and now things are going quieter. You're still thinking about it. Maybe you've accomplished something and it's like that stage is done. You've finished it. And so now you can relax a bit more. There's emotions around this, but it's like your life has been enhanced or revitalised in some way. 29th of October, Mercury also jumps into the 4th house here, bringing a lot of communications and ideas. And it's just a wonderful time, as I said before. The 30th, we see Mars retrograde in your 11th house here. So it stays in the 11th house for the month of October. And this brings, like, you might have been going out and socialising with your friends, for example, or been involved with some groups or something like that. But this is likely to slow down because Mars is retrograde. Maybe you're thinking about your friends, but you're not actually going out with them. Like I said before, time this month, I get a sense of there's not enough hours in the day to do everything, and you might be full of sort of inspiration and motivation to do things at home and stay at home. And so going out with friends, it's just doesn't appeal to you. But you may, with all of this activity, you could well have your friends around to your house and entertain at home is far more appealing to you this month. Alrighty, so that's it. If there's any, I didn't really talk about these cards much, just remember to stand your ground if there's any disagreements. But any disagreements are likely to work out in your favour. So just, you know, don't be a doormat. Just stand your ground. And again, you could be thinking about study or broadening your life, or perhaps travel is on your agenda, but you've got to figure out a way how to do it. So it's more about not traveling so much at the moment, but planning it for later. Okay, so that's it, everybody. Hope this is useful for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Leave a like or a comment, that would be fabulous, or share on your socials. Okay, I'll see you all again soon. Thanks and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.